The government is to ditch the 2035 gas boiler ban despite a heat pump drive. I'm going to read into this exclusive from the iPaper, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here, an exclusive from the iPaper with the headline that the government is to ditch the 2035 gas boiler ban despite the heat pump drive. Ministers plan to scrap a rule that would stop people replacing their existing boilers after 2035. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. So obviously one of the things that we're trying, we want to rely less on gas and push more towards these heat pumps that will make things easier. There's lots of things that needs to be done when it comes to warming up a lot of homes. Too many homes, new homes these days, are either too expensive or they're just not efficient enough. And there's obviously this drive to get people off gas boilers and get them onto heat pumps. And this ban was intended to basically try and push the emphasis of getting people more towards heat pumps and getting them off gas boilers. This is what the emphasis is. But it looks like that's not. I think the main reason why the government may be considering doing this is just to try and mitigate costs on people. We're talking about something that they're going to be putting into force in 10 years' time. Now, if I'm honest, if the majority of homes no longer have gas boilers, this will not be an issue. But the problem is there's still a lot of homes that still have them. I don't think here that not everybody can just cough up the money they need to replace it. I know there are incentives from the government to help people switch over, but it's too many. I think there's still this is still an issue. I think the worst thing is if those who replace the gas boilers because it's cheaper for them. It's a problem. So I'm in two ways about this, because one argument that people will make is, it's just, people need to save money. So for now, they just need to stick to what they've got. The other thing is to say, if we want to drive change and head towards less CO2s and more green energy and all that kind of stuff, then we need to make this change. We should be banning gas boilers should be sticking to the plan. So there is this weighing that people have when it comes to cost and but there's also but by doing this in the long term, keeping the ban, you're forced, people will be better off in the long term, especially those who have lots of home, especially some landlords who own a lot of homes. Like, they should be forced down this path, like to say, you need to switch over. So let's have a read into this, you guys. So the government is set to ditch plans to ban new gas boilers from 2035, despite pushing for the vast majority of homes to get heat pumps in the future. A de facto ban on gas boilers being installed in new homes will be confirmed later this year, taking effect before the end of the decade. But the previous planned rule that would stop people replacing their existing boilers with new ones from 2035 will be scrapped, the iPaper understands. Ministers have confirmed that they expect homes in the UK to adopt heat pumps at some point as part of their plans to remove fossil fuels from the country's heating systems. Heat pumps, which are powered by electricity, are currently used by only 1% of households and cost thousands of pounds more than gas boilers. But the government has promised to ramp up efforts to get homeowners to switch when their existing boilers need replacing, including by extending a £7,500 subsidy available to homeowners to buy a heat pump. The Conservatives have promised a total ban on all new gas boilers from 2035. Rishi Sunak, when he was Prime Minister, we will never force anyone to rip out their existing boiler and replace it with a heat pump. You only have to make the switch when you're replacing your boiler anyway, and even then, not until 2035. But speaking before the general election, Labour's Energy Secretary Ed Miliband suggested that he would scrap that rule, saying, "We haven't stuck with the government's 2035 target when you can't replace your gas boiler. I know that we've got to show that heat pumps are affordable and are going to work for people." Government is now set to formally ditch the rule. Later this year, ministers will set out a warm home plan with new details of how to switch to low-carbon heating methods will work. And it includes a future home standard which places stringent rules on building new homes. While gas boilers are not expected to be banned outright in newly built properties, they will not meet the minimum standards for green energy efficiency that will be imposed. Instead, all new homes will have to be heated with heat pumps or other forms of renewable powered heating. But that rule will be made clear that no existing boilers need to be removed, as well as scrapping the 2035 mandate for an end to the sale of new boilers. The government declined to comment ahead of the publication of the warm home plans and future home standards. And this is argued that heat pumps can save families money. Although some experts worry that they are still unaffordable, with most of the average installation cost for British Gas of £5,690. Even after subsidies is applied. Even after the subsidies, you're still paying that amount of money. Like people don't have money like that sitting around, some people. The technology is also unsuitable for many older homes unless they undergo costly renovations, such as having insulation and underfloor heating installed. Again, that's just... A new boiler currently costs about £3,000. Literally £2,000 difference there. It makes logical sense, from a cost perspective point of view. People aren't gonna switch if the cost is... You need to address this cost. Until you address the cost, more people are just going to stick to boilers. Labour has accused the Conservatives of a dismal failure to reduce the UK's reliance on natural gas from overseas, with heating costs soaring in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, thanks to a spike in gas prices on international markets. I do agree Conservatives didn't do enough on that. The government has pledged to cut UK carbon emissions by 81% by 2035 compared to 1990 levels, before hitting the net zero emissions by 2050. But Prime Minister Keir Starmer has promised to reach net zero in a way that treads lightly on people's lives, not telling them how to live or behave. Discussing the 2035 target in November, Starmer said it would be difficult, but achievable, adding, "I'm not telling people how to live their lives. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in making sure that energy bills are stable and what we've got is energy independence, and that we've also, along the way, picked up the next generation of jobs." The Shadow Energy Secretary, Claire Coutinho, claims that at a time when the new target would lead to hardship for the British people, she warned that making already stringent carbon emissions targets even higher would require a shift away from meat and dairy and less travel. This is nonsense about the meat and dairy thing. Don't buy into what she's saying there. Just don't buy into it, you guys. So just for reference, guys. So just to explain for heat pumps for those who don't know, this is heat pumps and what you need to know. This is by Grace Gorson here. So what are they? Heat pumps are a low carbon alternative way to heat your home. They work by absorbing heat from the environment and transferring it into a fluid, which is compared to increasing its temperature. There are two main types of heat pump: an air source heat pump and a ground source heat pump. An air source heat pump extracts heat from the outside air, while a ground source heat pump extracts heat from the ground using buried collectors, known as ground arrays. Unlike boilers, heat pumps don't burn fuel to create heat. They transfer thermal energy from one place to another. Air source heat pumps tend to cost between £14,000 and £19,000 to install. Ground heat pumps cost between £28,000 and £34,000 to install, depending on how you install the pipes. Too much money. Way too much money. The exact price will depend on your brand, model and size of the heat pump, as well as the size to your property. Government grants are available to homeowners that will help with the costs. The average gas boiler cost for supplies and installation is £3,000. British Gas cites the average cost as £5,960 after the £7,500 government grant is applied. Again, it's just too much money. So an air source heat pump, even after the £7,500 grant, you're still paying a huge amount of money. How long do they take to install? Air source heat pumps take a couple of days to install at home, while ground source heat pumps take longer. When installing, the drilling can take 2 days, while other parts of the installation can take 4 days. Pricier ground source heat pumps are considered to be more effective than air source alternatives. So what grants can you get to help with the cost? For England and Wales, you can get a grant of up to £7,500 to replace a fossil fuel boiler with a heat pump under the boiler upgrade scheme. For Scotland, you get a grant of up to £7,500. That's £9,000 in rural properties for energy-efficient home improvements. You can also get a loan of up to £7,500 to install renewable heat in your home. There are no dedicated schemes in Northern Ireland, and to find out if you're eligible, use the government website. If you are, contact a certified installer to get quotes, and they will apply for the grant through the energy regulator Ofgem. Some homes will also have the benefit of having an additional grant that will help the cost of installation. This is important as some owners have to pay for improved installation and replacement radiators to make sure the system works efficiently. So many energy funds will help you install them, including Octopus Energy, Econ and British Gas. It is worth contacting your supplier directly to see if they will accept grants and help with an installation. Will they get cheaper in the future? That's a good question. Although it's hoped heat pumps will get cheaper in the future, especially for households taking advantage of the grants, it's very difficult to say by how much and by when exactly. According to industry predictions from bodies such as UK Energy Research Centres, heat pumps could be reduced by 25% over the next few years, which could be equivalent to thousands of pounds. One of the potential issues with them, not every home is suitable for a heat pump. All pumps need outside space, so this could be an issue if you do not have any. The external space needed for an airspace heat pump is no larger than a washing machine, But for a ground source heat pump, you need more than access for a drilling machine to create a borehole or two. They also work best well in well-insulated homes as they supply heat at a lower temperature. If your home is not efficient, you can still install one, but you may need to add extra insulation to improve your radiators to increase the flow, which could be costly. Yeah, so those are the heat pumps. Obviously, the ground one is just way too expensive. Way too expensive. Maybe more effective, but it's just way too expensive. The money is just insane. And I don't expect, like if you've got money lying around, like like if you got money lying around, like even I think the average person got money lying around, they would rather just replace it with a gas boiler. Like the costs are just too high. They need to knock down those prices. They've got to knock down those prices. They're far too high. Even with the government grants, they're far too high. More needs to be done to incentivize people to them. And unless you do something about the pricing, it's going to be more problematic. So yeah, they need to do more to incentivize people to switch over. But the best way to do that is by knocking down those prices. So the grants, I feel, are too low. They need to be more. And I know the question people will ask, yeah, but Regan, where are people going to get the money from? Where are they going to get the money from to increase the grants? Well, if the government are serious about getting people off gas boilers, then they need to put their money hand in their pocket. That's my response to it. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the government's plans to ditch 2035 gas boiler ban? Do you think they should ditch it? Should they keep to it? Considering the prices of heat pumps, can you understand why that they may be dropping it? Let me know your thoughts and more on this down in the comment section below. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share this across social media so others are notified of this video. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further and financially support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very soon.